Well, another month has gone by, and it must mean it's time for a new episode of IBI On Site. I am your host, Jake Dungan, minor league content coordinator for Indians Baseball Insider, and today I'm here at Eastwood Field on a hot and humid day in Niles, Ohio, where the Mahoning Valley Scrappers are just getting their 2016 campaign underway. Now, like every season, the Scrappers come into this season with a lot of new faces in their clubhouse, as they play host to many new players from both the amateur draft and the rookie ball levels who are just beginning their professional careers. Now, players such as Logan Ice and Mitch Longo are guys who have come from this year's draft and are just starting their professional careers. While guys coming from the rookie ball level such as top pitching prospects Tristan McKenzie and Juan Hillman have joined the Scrappers pitching staff and are hoping to begin their long ascent up the affiliation ladder, hopefully ending in Cleveland at Progressive Field. Now, the Scrappers come into this season under first-year manager Edwin Rodriguez, who is no stranger to the Indians organization, as he has spent the last several seasons as a roving instructor and manager at the upper levels. He has worked with the likes of current big leaguers Francisco Lindor and Jose Ramirez, and he is hoping to bring some of that expertise to the younger guys here at the lower levels of the farm system. So, we will talk to Edwin Rodriguez, as well as some of the players, as we get to know some of the newer top prospects to the Indians organization. So, without further ado, let's get going. Alright, I'm joined right now by Scrappers manager Edwin Rodriguez. Now, Edwin, the season's underway. Team's gotten off to kind of a slow start, but you see some good things on both sides of the ball, pitching, hitting. I want to ask you just your thoughts overall on the season.
Well, the losing and winning, that's part of the process. Right now, we are 2-8, the first 10 game of the season, but we are young kids, a lot of talent here, and they show a lot of energy and a lot of passion for the game, and they're willing to work. That's what it's all about, getting them better.
So, you got some new faces coming in since we last talked to you. One of the guys is one of your catchers, Logan Ice, one of the draft picks from this year. When you look at him and the limited time you've seen him, what is your impression of him?
Well, I'm very impressed with Logan. I mean, the way he's calling the game, blocking, throwing, swinging the bat, and his whole approach toward the game. I mean, you can tell he's a baseball player, and he's really into the game. I'm very, very impressed, and I'm glad that the Indians finally, signed Logan.
So, another guy who's kind of been hitting the ball well, and you've had him all season, is Luke Wakamatsu. Just what do you think of what he's been able to do, and what do you think his potential is?
Oh, he's been very aggressive swinging the bat. He needs to work on the secondary pitches. I mean, they've been working him, with a lot of change-ups and cutters and all that. But that's part of the process. And then, but he's been, first 10 games, he's been swinging the bat very well. Left-handed, he's swinging better, just because he's facing more right-handed pitchers. But his right-hand swing, he's coming around, and he's going to be just fine.
So on the pitching side, you got some guys who are really starting at the top of your rotation. You got three guys who are really pitching well. You got Miniard, you've got McKenzie, and you got Hillman. So start at the top of the rotation. As a matter of fact, the guy who's going to be going tonight, Miniard, just what has he been able to do this year?
Oh, he's been very impressed the last the first two outings of the season. He's pitching down in the zone. He's commanding the secondary pitches. When he's behind in the count, he's able to work at that outside part of the plate, and his tempo of the game, his feel for pitching, the whole approach, and his first time I think that he's coming out of Arizona League. And he's been very impressive. He's been facing pretty good hitters, college, guys that just been in baseball for 2 or 3 years in professional baseball, a very good college hitting prospect. So I've been very impressed. He's going out tonight, and I'm expecting 5 strong innings from him.
So moving down in the rotation now, Tristan McKenzie, just looking at the numbers he's been able to put up in his first couple outings, he's got the strikeout numbers, and he's obviously been doing some good things on the mound. What do you think of how he's performed in his first season in affiliate ball?
Oh, talent-wise, I mean, there's a ton of talent there. So that sometimes you forget that he's just a kid. I mean, but the way he's been pitching and pounding the strike zone, being aggressive, holding up the runners, commanding the secondary pitches. He's been doing everything, and he's a kid. He's a player that he's very confident on his abilities. So that's halfway of the battle. So the talent is there. The willing to work is there, so it's a matter of time that we're going to see him in the big leagues.
And then Juan Hillman, also not as impressive as McKenzie, but still putting up pretty solid numbers himself. He's also first season in affiliate ball. Just what do you think of what he's been able to do this season, and what do you think he has potential-wise moving forward?
Oh, I'm very impressed also with Juan Hillman. First, because he's a left-handed and he throws strikes, and he commands those secondary pitches. He throws those secondary pitches for strike on any count. So when you have a left-handed that commands those secondary pitches on any count, chances are he's going to move up fast. And I can see that from Hillman. He's a very intense player. I mean, he's really into the game. The pre-game preparation is there. So that he's another guy, like you say, those three guys, Micah, McKenzie, and Juan. We've been very impressed with those three guys.
And I wanted to ask you personally, now this is your first year back as a manager in a few years. You've been spent the last few years as a roving instructor. Just now that we're a couple weeks into the season, what has your expectations been like coming into the season and come back as a manager, and has it lived up to it? Have you learned anything new coming back working? Because you were in AA Akron managing, and you got these younger guys now who are pretty fresh as professionals.
Right.
Have you learned anything new from your and adapted your managing style at all?
Well, you're always learning. If you pay attention to this game, it doesn't matter how long you've been in this game, you should be learning on an everyday basis. Of course, I'm learning a lot from these young players, and yes, I need to be a little bit more patient with them, regard of how they play the game. I mean, sometimes, you assume, which is a first mistake as a manager you made. You cannot assume, but sometimes, because coming from the higher level, you cannot assume that these kids at this level, short season, know a lot of things. So you have to approach everything like they don't know, and you have to be patient with them, and you have to repeat yourself 3, 4, 5 times a day, the same thing. So you have to be able to do that, and they know the message, they got the message, and they're willing to work at everything.
All right, so a couple weeks into the season now. Now that we're underway now, what are your expectations for this group of guys moving forward?
Well, the thing is that we've been sending the message that it is a process. You have to learn to play the game one pitch at a time. That way, you're going to be closer to your goal, which is playing the big leagues. And but if you try to make it to the big leagues in one swing or one pitch, that won't work. So it is a process. They have to understand it's a process, and they have to approach the development as a process, and calm down and be patient with themselves. Sometimes they're too hard on themselves. They have to learn to understand the whole process.
All right, well, Edwin Rodriguez, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you.
Coming up, we talk with Scrapper shortstop Luke Wakamatsu about his first season in affiliated ball. Plus, we catch up with Logan Ice about his draft experience and his impression of the Indians organization so far. Hi, I'm Jake Dungan.
And I'm Corey Christen.
And this is the Farm Report Podcast.
Tune in each week for updates and analysis on all the levels of the Indian system. From Mahoning Valley to Lynchburg to Columbus, the Farm Report Podcast is the place to be.
We'll provide you with an insider's perspective on all the top prospects. Plus, our live remote sessions will bring you even closer to the system with exclusive interviews with players and coaches.
The Farm Report Podcast, brought to you by Indians Baseball Insider and broadcasted on the Smoke Signals Podcast Network.
All right, so I'm joined now by Luke Wakamatsu. Now, Luke, this is your first season in affiliated ball. Just a couple weeks in the season, what has been your impression so far?
It's been tough. We haven't played to our full potential yet, but I feel like we're going to hit that bump and then start playing well and just playing as a team and being more energetic.
Now, you're one of the guys in the lineup who's actually hitting the ball really well. Talk to Edwin a little bit about your season so far. Just what has been your approach this early on and that has led to this success?
I'm just trying to lead this team and be a captain on this team and just try to be aggressive at the plate and play good defense.
All right, now I know you've gotten this question a lot, but your dad, Don Wakamatsu, obviously having him for a dad, you grew up in the game. So what has been his role in your life as coming up as a player, and then how has he helped you into adjusting to professional life?
He's helped me tremendously. He's helped me like my whole life. He's been my coach my whole life and taught me pretty much everything I know, and it's been a blessing, really.
So how's it been working with these group of guys? I mean, some of them are new to the organization, some of them second, third year players. How's it been working with these guys?
It's been good, getting to know these guys, getting to know their true personality, and seeing how they can play, and just different levels of play, I guess. Just energetic and just getting to know them.
Is there anything personally that you're working on adjustment-wise moving forward?
Pretty much just playing team baseball, not thinking about yourself, not thinking about individual stats, and kind of just having that selflessness mentality.
All right. So what are your expectations both for yourself and then as for the team moving forward into the season?
Just bringing more energy to the ballpark. Just coming out every day, believing it's opening day every day.
All right, Luke Wakamatsu, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, so now I'm joined by Logan Ice, who is a top-round draft pick for the Indians this year. Logan, first of all, just what led to you signing with the organization? What impressed you about the Indians?
I was impressed with the organization and the care that they actually put into getting me out to Cleveland, the way they treated me out in Cleveland, and so my first impression was it was a top-notch organization.
All right, so the team, the Scrappers, have not gotten off to quite the start that maybe you guys had hoped. I know that you at the plate done some nice things, but maybe not quite up to your standards either. But just talk about what you've done so far this season and what you've been working on and what's been in your approach.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's a step up. It's not amateur baseball anymore. It's not collegiate baseball. It's professional baseball, and so the talent level gets a little bit better. And with that being said, you have to start making adjustments quicker, and so that's what I've been trying to do. We finished on May 30th, and I played my first game, June 20-something. So, I had about a month off without seeing live pitching, which was a little bit difficult those first couple games. So, I'm sure that played into it, and hitting so much rhythm and timing that that was kind of thrown off a little bit. So. It's been good to get back in the rhythm of things and start seeing live pitching again.
You mentioned adjustments. I know it's only been a couple weeks, but has there been a major adjustment that you've had to make going from collegiate ball to pro ball?
I mean, these guys throw a little bit harder. You got to make sure you're on time, and they don't make as many mistakes as they do in college. So with that being said, if you get a pitch to hit, sometimes it's only one in at bat. And you got to hit it.
All right, so you come into this club. It's got some decent pitchers. I mean, you just got here, just signed not too long ago, but working with some of the guys who you've seen so far, you got Minyard, you got McKenzie, you got Hillman. How much experience have you had with those guys, and what's been your impression of them as a catcher?
From my standpoint, they've been really, really good. They've given us good outings. I think they would all tell you that they've, not thrown as well as they could have. They've had, all three of them have probably had an inning where they've tallied up some pitches that they shouldn't have just because, a lack of concentration or this or that. But they've all thrown the ball really well. I've been really impressed with the way they've carried themselves and the, mound presence they have with the pitches that they want to throw. And when they want to throw it, so we've been on a pretty good page from one another, and it's been fun.
All right, so now is there any thing you're working on moving forward now that you got a couple weeks under your belt on professional ball?
No, I mean it's a day-to-day thing, pitch to pitch, inning to inning, game to game. You got to make adjustments, and so obviously keep fine-tuning catching, different things within catching. aspects, and then hitting is just, seeing more and more of the pitching and trying to make adjustments to what they're trying to do and the tendencies that they're showing me.
All right, you gotta tell me, is your walk-up music have anything ice related in the title?
I haven't picked a walk-up song yet, but I'm definitely not.
I was hoping for Ice Ice Baby,
Yeah,
but
I've got that one before.
all right, Logan Ice, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Good luck the rest of the season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Still to come, we meet up with Scrappers beat writer Corey Christen to get his thoughts on Mahoning Valley season so far and the team's talent overall. Hey guys, Jake Dungan here, just wanted to give a quick plug to our senior contributors' Twitter accounts. We appreciate your feedback, and social media is the best way to get in touch with us, so give us a follow. Now, back to the show. Alright, well, we got a little bit of a podcast reunion here. It's the first time you get to see our ugly mugs on camera. Corey Christen. Corey, how we... good to actually talk to you on video. It's kind of a little bit of a different setting for us.
First of all, throw me under the bus with the ugly comment.
I threw myself under there too.
I don't appreciate that much. No, Jake, good to be here with you. Welcome to Mahoning Valley. Welcome to the area.
All right, so we've talked to Edwin Rodriguez, Luke Wakamatsu, and Logan Ice so far on this show. And first of all, just the Scrappers team overall, not quite off to the start that maybe many had expected, but they got some talent here. They got pitching talent, they got hitting talent. What do you think of this team overall?
They do. They got talent everywhere, Jake. And as compared to last year, and look at this. Let's bring in a surprise guest. My buddy Scrappy joining us. Scrappy, give a little what's up to the camera. This is my buddy right here. This is the top dog in the house, Scrappy.
All right.
Give me knuckles. Attaboy. We'll see you later, Scrap. That's it.
All right.
You never know what's going to happen on live to tape.
Tell me about it.
But talking about the team, they have depth this year. That's the difference from this year to last year, is that this team has depth. You talk about guys like Wakamatsu and Ice, who are really highly talented prospects at this level, but you look down in the bullpen, you got a Ping Su Chen who's pitched well this season. You got the top two picks in Juan Hillman and Tristan McKenzie from last year. You can't speak enough about those two. There's infield depth. There's Alexis Panto, who's a really good fielder. Outfield, Gabriel Mejia, as fast as they come. So this team has all kinds of parts that really, it's just about bringing them together, but individually as prospects, they got some wild cards in there.
Before we get into some of the talk about the specific players, I want to talk about Edwin Rodriguez.
Sure.
Because we talked to him on our live remote podcast when we were here a couple of weeks ago. He's got a couple weeks under his belt, back at the helm of a team after spending the last few years as a roving instructor. What do you think of, just as a reporter talking to him, what do you think of his what he brings to the table as far as expertise and experience goes?
So far, I think with Edwin and with these players, it's about development here, obviously, and in the minor leagues, it's going to be about that. But with Edwin, he understands that it takes time for these guys. Some are coming out of college, some are foreign players that may have never seen the lights before. It's going to take time for these guys, and he addressed that the other day. The team had a 10-4 win, a big win at home, but he knew that the first two games of the season were at home, but players were still getting in and getting acclimated and all of that, and they wanted a big road trip, scored some runs, and then the pitching pitched well, but other games, the offense just couldn't put it together. So what Edwin does as a manager is he puts it into perspective, and he really does a good job of just recognizing that these players have to learn their games and have to learn how to adjust to pro ball before they can truly go ahead and then make the next step.
All right, so let's talk about some of the specific players that are here at this level. Mentioned we talked to Logan Ice and Luke Wakamatsu. Start with Logan Ice, since he's the newer face of the two. Coming out of this year's draft, he's a pretty talented catcher. Not one particular tool that stands out for him, but he's just pretty much solid overall. In the limited time you've seen him, what is your impression of him?
Well, so far he carries himself very well, and Edwin Rodriguez had nothing but great things to say about him so far. Defensively, he's as good as they come, and that's the reason why the Indians drafted him so highly. We're talking about guys that can fit the mold as a catcher, that can do it offensively and defensively. Offensively, Ice has a little bit of a ways to go. Now, he hit his first professional home run in his first home game here, so that was nice to see. And Edwin knows that the bat's going to have to come, but the defense is there. He's solid behind the plate. He blocks balls. He stops balls. He's a good run protector, and he's a good base stealer protector. So I think for Logan Ice, it's about getting reps more or less than more the development side. He still has a way to go, I think, in development. He's still very young, just coming out of Oregon State. But certainly, I think the sky's the limit for a kid who he does get nothing but great praise throughout minor league baseball.
Now we talked about Luke Wakamatsu in our last podcast, but just for the sake of telling our viewers, what have you seen from Luke Wakamatsu, and what does his potential hold in store?
He's very young, and we know the pedigree he has with his father being a manager and a player, and now a bench coach. Luke is very raw in that I love the pick they made last year with him 20th overall, or 20th round rather, but Luke has work to do defensively, I feel like. Now, he hits third and second. He hits towards the top of Edwin Rodriguez's lineup, so that's very encouraging to see. He's a hitting shortstop. He can swing the sticks. But defensively, I think he still needs work. His range is there, but it's a matter of fielding cleanly and being fluid with his motion and throwing. So I think Luke has the defensive ability that needs worked on, but the offensive ability, I don't want to say there's no question, but certainly I think it's more developed than you would think for a shortstop at this level.
Yeah, well, Luke Wakamatsu, guy who not many expected to sign. I mean, 20th round pick. Our buddy Jeff Ellis actually said he was probably the most unsignable prospect of the draft last year. So for him they need to be able to pick him up in the later rounds like that, and for him to sign, yeah, that says a lot about what the Indians have done developmentally as far as improving their player development system. So just final thoughts on the Mahoning Valley roster moving forward. What do you see from this group of guys?
Well, I expect the pitching to continue, and like I said, you got McKenzie and Hillman here leading the front line of the rotation. You got Micah Minyard here who can put good outings out. The back end of that bullpen looks to be very solid so far, so the pitching I think is there. It's just a matter of when the offense could come around and hitting. Now, Emmanuel Tapia has missed the past few games due to an injury. Again, Wakamatsu with his bat, it's there. There's guys like a Nate Winfrey who have been here, a Gabriel Mia who've been here, a John Carter who's been here, who's still only, I believe he's only 19 years old still. So this roster's very young, and once they find it to work together, you're going to see them start winning some ball games, I think. As far as this year compared to last year, I certainly think on paper this year's roster has what it takes to get into the playoffs, as opposed to last year, who there's still parts, but they really couldn't just put it together. But overall, I like what I see here in Mahoning Valley so far.
All right, well, Corey Christen, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, and look forward to getting back together again on our podcast.
Yes, sir, Jake. Thank you very much.
All right. Enjoy getting to know some of the new names of the Indians organization here in Mahoning Valley. It's always an exciting time of year when the Scrapper season gets underway, and you get to take everything you've learned from reading stat sheets and scouting reports and actually get to see it play out here on the baseball diamond here at Eastwood Field. As far as guys like Logan Ice and Luke Wakamatsu, these guys come into their professional careers with a lot of talent and potential that will hopefully carry them someday up to the majors in Cleveland. And as far as the leader is concerned, well, you couldn't ask for much better than Edwin Rodriguez, who brings a wealth of expertise and experience to this level that will hopefully resonate with some of the younger and inexperienced players. So, that's going to do it for us here today at Mahoning Valley. For IBI On Site, I'm Jake Dungan, and we'll see you next time.